There are several groundbreaking stories in the world, but none like the story of a certain Indian boy who went from being a nobody to taking control of a multi-billion-dollar empire. His name? Sundar Pichai, the current Chief Executive Officer of Alphabet Incorporated, better known as Google. Unlike most Fortune 500 CEOs, Sundar Pichai's journey began far from privilege. Growing up in a modest household in India, his future seemed worlds away from Silicon Valley. If someone had told Sundar himself that he would one day lead one of America's most influential companies, he would have labeled the person a wishful thinker. It was true that little Sundar possessed exceptional intellectual skills, including a photographic memory for numbers. He could easily memorize numbers and effortlessly recall numerical symbols from anywhere, a talent which he saw no use of, according to his uncle. But the reality still remained that the family earned less than $30 a month, which was barely enough to afford them a well-furnished apartment, let alone provide Sundar with the required educational opportunities to explore his potential. However, one of the most beautiful things about the story was the belief Mr. and Mrs. Pichai had in their son. In an interview with Bloomberg, Sundar noted that, like many parents of that time, his parents prioritized the education of their children above anything else, even if it meant emptying their bank accounts to see it happen. Every day, Sundar would go to school in a rickshaw, pulling out a book during each journey and not putting it down until he had reached his destination. A particular neighbor of his defined him as a bookworm, saying that little Sundar loved his book more than anything. He would ignore calls to play outside and even the girl next to him just to focus on the book on his hand. Despite his devotion to his academics, Sundar Pichai was not at the top in class, but nonetheless, he was still doing measurably well. After completing his secondary education at Jawahar Secondary School, Sundar began his undergraduate studies in metallurgical engineering at an institute of technology in India. And unlike at his secondary school, he was shoulders above everyone in his class and ended up graduating exceptionally, attracting a scholarship from Stanford University in America, one of the top universities in the world. His lecturers had recommended him to pursue a PhD at the school, but Sundar relegated the plans to apply for a master's degree instead at the American University. Ever believing in their son, Sundar's parents had to make it happen for him, as getting a scholarship to study in America was one thing, and actually getting there was another. Sacrificing more than 3 years' worth of family savings, Sundar's parents were able to raise the sum of $1,000 for their son's travel, finally putting him on the plane in show of their commitment to him and his brother's educational pursuits. Before he joined Google in 2004, Sundar had already secured an additional MBA degree at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania while working as an engineer and product manager at a company named Applied Materials. After that, Sundar began staring into the administrative part of business, landing his next but short career role in management consultancy at McKinsey & Company. Spotting an opportunity to join the fast-rising search engine company, which was only 6 years old at the time, Sundar was able to secure an interview with Google for a position in product management. His interview fell on the 1st of April 2004, the same day the internet giant was releasing a new product in the electronic mailing sector, the Gmail. According to Sundar, he initially thought that Google was trying to pull off an April Fool's prank with the release of Gmail, given that it was not yet accessible to the public. But the reactions of his interviewers to his remarks show that they meant business, prompting Sundar to refine his opinions concerning Google in subsequent interviews. Having luckily landed a role with Google, Sundar was tasked with overseeing the development and management of the Google Search Toolbar. It was a critically strategic product that would channel all search queries on different web browsers to Google, enabling the company to further know what people were searching for and effectively run ads, which was their main source of income. At this time, Google had no web browser and had to collaborate with other web browsing companies, such as Internet Explorer and Firefox, to draw users to the Google search bar. While this sounded like good business, long-sighted Sundar, on the other hand, saw this as a great weakness. as all it would take is for these browsers to develop their own search engines and Google would become obsolete. In order to defend the interests of the company long term, Sundar proposed an idea that quickly launched him into the spotlight within the company. After managing to convince the then CEO, Eric Schmidt, of the potential risk Google could be facing long term, he placed the idea of an indigenous web browser for the company as a solution. This was a defining moment for Sundar, as his new product pitch went into the works, and just 4 years after he joined the company, the Chrome web browser was born. Gaining a foothold in the web browsing sector was important for Google at that time, given that more and more businesses were now moving into the internet, and remaining as just a search engine meant that Google would be missing out on a huge market right in their very own niche. In order to adapt and evolve, Sundar was helping pull Google from being a mere internet search bar to becoming a tool used for both finding and accessing these websites through Chrome. The emergence of Chrome will provide the full browsing experience to users and, unfortunately, also pull Google into competition with other web browsing companies who were comfortably dominating the internet at the time. In order to secure their own share in the web browser, Google began collaborating with several computer makers to get Chrome pre-installed on new computers. The tech giant also went on to develop a system that could help many business owners successfully migrate to the internet, as the race for connectivity was getting popular at the time. This particular initiative led to millions of websites to be developed under Google's hosting service, giving Chrome, Google's own web browser, the advantage of running them better. As more people became familiarized with the Chrome browser in their computers and its ability to become better, it didn't take long for the program to become popular. Today, Google owns close to 65% of the web browser market share, thanks to a simple concern by some young employee decades ago. Sundar Pichai went on to oversee the development and management of other high-profile products such as Gmail and Google Maps, including products that were never heard of. Sundar's role in product management started becoming prominent as his leadership led to the successful development of Google's several services and products, including the ones he proposed himself. In 2009, Sundar presented the Chrome operating system, an OS that was to be used for a proposed Google's device, the Chromebook, which later went into testing and trial in 2011. In 2010, he announced the open sourcing of the new video codec VP8 by Google, while introducing the new video format WebM. By 2013, the smartphone industry was emerging rapidly, and the popular operating system Android was soon added to the list of the products Sundar was overseeing, after the former leaders of Android and Google Apps disembarked for better opportunities. Google Apps went under Sundar's control, further expanding its portfolio and critically solidifying its importance to the company in the midst of a heated rivalry with Apple and Microsoft. Climbing from the Director of Product Management to Vice President of Product Management to Senior Vice President to Product Chief, the committed Indian had built a career of success and innovation, much to the attention of other Silicon Valley giants, who were now vying for his crossover to their different companies. At a point in 2014, Sundar had been recommended as a contender for the role of CEO at Microsoft. Steve Ballmer had departed. Although Satya Nadella later emerged as a replacement, Sundar never lacked better opportunities coming for him, even from Twitter, where he was rumored to be offered the role of a CEO. In fact, founder of Google and second-time CEO Larry Page had to secure Sundar with an offer of $50 million in company stocks, including an increase in salary and other bonuses to make him look away from outside offers and remain at Google. In 2015, following the retirement of Larry Page, close observers of Google were not surprised who the next CEO would be. Having led a successful role in the past years and proven to be long-sighted, innovative and strategic in dealings, Sundar Pichai was announced CEO at Google in reward for his commitment. This came as a shock to the world, following the sudden trend of Indian CEOs dominating Silicon Valley. First, it was the appointment of Satya Nadella at Microsoft, and just a year after that, another bright mind from the same Asian country had risen to head one of America's corporate giants, known as Google until 2019. The company rebranded as Alphabet Incorporation to parent over its diverging enterprises, which included Google, DeepMind AI, Waymo, and other projects headed by the able leadership of Sundar Pichai. Starting from the moment Sundar Pichai made a compelling case to stakeholders for the Chrome web browser, his reputation had slowly evolved from an excellent product manager to a person with a strategic acumen for business. Thanks to his ability to think holistically, some of his colleagues also defined him as a skilled diplomat who was able to effectively negotiate dealings and manage competition with rivals. A great example of Mr. Pichai's social intelligence could be seen in 2014, when friction arose between Google and Samsung over Samsung's modification of its interface on tablets, which Google felt was altering the native experience on Android and limiting the company's services. In order to resolve disagreements between the two companies, Sundar, who was yet to be CEO, set up a series of meetings with J.K. Sheen, then CEO of Samsung, where some discussions were made about the intertwined fates of both companies and how to forge a new path forward. The details of the meeting were not public, but all that is known is that those meetings quickly resuscitated collaboration between the two companies, as both were able to negotiate a patent cross-licensing agreement that would enable them to work more closely than ever. According to the mind behind those meetings, Sundar. Despite being CEO of an American giant company, the Indian immigrant never forgot his roots. He has been known to visit his home country many times, occasionally stopping by his alma mater and spearheading several Google-led initiatives such as a $10 billion digitization program for the country and investment for Indian-owned startups. In 2022, Mr. Sundar was honored with the prestigious Padma Bhushan Award by the Indian government in appreciation of his efforts in India through Alphabet. Sundar Pichai's unprecedented rise from the common city of Chennai to the ranks of the most influential people in the world is a testament to how vision and faith could shape one's life. Starting from a household that earned less than $30 a month, Mr. Pichai now earns close to $150 million every year in salary and bonuses. He is happily married to Anjali Pichai and has 2 children. While Sundar Pichai may not be regarded as an exceptional genius, his rise to success was far from accidental. The CEO clearly understood where his power lied: in the administrative sector of his career, where his ability to showcase high business IQ coupled with consistent results made him indispensable at Google, so that had he not joined the tech giant, Mr. Pichai's natural skills and insight would have still granted him excellence anywhere in today's corporate world.